Hello, hello, happy Friday. Welcome to our Friday Witchy Hangout. We do this every single Friday where we get together, we ask a juicy question of the universe, we mingle our energies, and we explore life, and we usually have a pretty good time doing it. So today we have a juicy question on what do they love most about you. So obviously this is a love channel and we primarily do love and romance readings, but if you have somebody platonic on your mind, this can still apply to that situation, but you just might have to weed out some of the more like spicier stuff. It still could resonate, so of course take this however it resonates for you. Hello, hello. So let us go ahead and get into this. We have an anchor card, so I'll just put that up there. The anchor card is not one of the options, but it is a common energy that just comes out in the readings. We don't try to get an anchor card. We shuffle the cards for our piles, and a lot of times an anchor card just comes out. And if you've been here before, you know that I feel like we read the cards together. I'm picking up on more general messages. You still might pick up on things that are specific to your situation. So I like to make sure that you get a good look at the main cards that are infused into this energy. And the anchor card is the Kiss. So you might be getting some kind of messages or perspectives here, or this might kind of pop into your mind at some point. So that is the anchor card. We'll go ahead and put up the choices here. So pile number 1 is the Mystic, pile number 2 is the Shapeshifter, and pile number 3 is the Stone. So if you haven't already chosen your pile, now is a good time to do that. In whatever way, you've probably got your own style and routine and practice. So now you can do that. We like to just take a moment of silence. One full breath is a meditation. So just closing the eyes, allow your gaze to shift inwards and just allow that to fill up the space. Okay, and whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and be drawn in to whatever pile or multiple piles you are drawn into. I noticed when I was meditating that my mouth was opening a little bit more and more and more. And I was just letting it happen, but that might be a message for somebody. Okay, you guys are so nice. Hello, hello. Oh my gosh, la 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 live for today. I like your name. Okay, I'm just gonna leave this up here for another couple seconds, but if you still need a little bit more time, you can pause the live stream here and we'll go ahead and move into pile number 1. I can hear a Luna girl getting on the counter. This might be part of the message. Okay, so pile number 1. What does this person love most about you? Okay, I feel like this person, oh my gosh, interesting. Okay, they have like some kind of love message for you. I feel like this person kind of holding back on the love message because you're really in motion, pile number 1. And that has to do with what this person loves most about you. That could be that you're like a really active person. Maybe you like live a very active lifestyle and you're always kind of flitting from here to there. But I feel like your energy, there's something about your energy that's always in motion. And I don't think this person would use these words to describe you. I think that this person, A, they like watching you, but B, I feel like they don't know what they love most about you because it's like ephemeral to this person. They know that they really, really like you. They know that there's something about you that kind of always draws them in. I feel like you maybe always do or say things that are shocking to this person in a really good way. Like maybe they catch them off guard in a really good way. Like they weren't expecting you to say that, or they weren't expecting you to have that opinion, or they weren't expecting you to have had that perspective because they didn't know that you lived through that experience in your life, but it's always like a pleasant surprise because I feel like your take on something or your contribution to a social engagement conversation, it's always interesting, but in a way that they don't quite understand how you do it or like where it comes from, but you never shock them in like an unpleasant way. It's always like, that was more like well-rounded. It was a more embodied experience than they were really expecting. So they don't exactly know this quality about you. But it is like an inward quality. And actually like with the Mystic card here, notice like that like little fireball on the inside. I'm kind of seeing that like swirling and swirling and swirling. So I feel like, again, it's like this interchange. And for some of you, it's this kind of this dharmic propensity. And, Dharma is one of those concepts where I feel like there's probably someone writing like a PhD dissertation on Dharma. That's probably, there's so much to kind of just know and explain. And we're here trying to talk about these in little bite-sized pieces. But I did hear somebody, they were talking about, I think it was something in the Vedas, but they were likening Dharma to actually like religion, like the religious rituals kind of a thing. So it even could be that like there's something here in your routine that really benefits you, and it keeps your energy kind of like in motion in this very like kind of purifying way. And so every time this person sees you, it's like they don't really realize that they're seeing this inner momentum or this inner change, but they like it. And yeah, so there's a lot about you I think that this person finds like ephemeral or mysterious or enigmatic. It's something that they can't quite put their fingers on, but they like it. And you really stand out to this person. But this is a moth on this card, which is like a nighttime creature that is drawn to the light. I feel like this person might feel that way about you, like a moth kind of drawn into your flame. But it also might be a little bit overwhelming to this person because they might not know like if they're being drawn into like the bug zapper, or if it's just, it feels like this kind of like, whoa kind of thing. So there might be a little bit of like fear and reservedness and held back. That fear for this person might also be because maybe they don't see themselves as interesting as you, or like, having something to add to the conversation, and they're so kind of taken with you and they like to kind of soak and absorb that, but they don't want you to think that they don't vibe with you because they don't know the things that you know or have lived through the things that you've lived. And I feel like this person also doesn't see themselves as being interesting, but I think that's not true. I think that, all of us, when we live through life, we're like, oh, well, that's just regular life because that happened to me. It's like this person, I think, has that. But I also think that there's like you have a strong inner experience that helps you to make sense of your world in a way that is I hate to use the word profound because I truly feel that the most profound people are mundane. Like they don't view themselves as profound. I've spent a lot of time in a spiritual community, and always my favorite people were the ones that were like, very grounded, and like, this isn't a big deal. They didn't have this sort of egoic identity around that. So I hate to say that it's like kind of profound, but I just feel like there's something here where it's like you're always connecting to some type of, like, you learn from everything in life is what it is. That's what I mean by having some kind of profound meaning. Impactful is maybe a better word. Because I can feel this being very grounded and just kind of mundane, and maybe you not taking yourself too seriously. Anything that you do, I feel like there's a humbleness and like a humility here as well. Otherwise you wouldn't be coming through as like a moth, because the moth is okay with being in the dark. But yeah, I just think that there's a lot of people that are kind of like drawn into you, but you're not like seeking out the spotlight. And there's this humbleness, and maybe you don't contribute a lot to conversations, but like when you do, you say a thing that like really sticks with this person or something like that. I also get the sense that this person maybe doesn't see you too often, or they feel like they don't get a glimpse of like the real you. So it could be that you work with this person every day, but it's in these kind of mundane, at the water cooler kind of thing. So they feel like they don't get to see like the real you, but whenever they do it's really, I feel like you've had a profound impact on this person, like a couple of times. Also, like, how does this, okay, well, I keep hearing like love messages. There might also be a psychic link, and you may have like, opened this person up to that, because I kind of felt that energy, moving around here, but it didn't quite take. So, oh, look, you are the one and only. You are the one and only. Okay, so what is this person wanting to say? I'm going to pull from the regular tarot, but I just feel like this message, I feel like this person maybe is like trying to work up the nerve or the courage to send you a message, or to talk to you, or to get this kind of off their chest, that they view you in this way, like you stand out to them. This is definitely somebody, if you don't know them in a personal setting, they would like to know you in a personal setting. They want to like hang out with you. They want to, like, or even, date you. But I feel like this person would kind of want to start slow in regards to that. But, they might not know if you're with somebody here. Also, I just feel like you show this person something about intimacy, like true intimacy. They feel like they can kind of connect with you, but it doesn't feel scary, they don't feel like they're going to be hurt or something like that. So that tells me they really trust you, and they really trust your energy. I think that you've really shown to this person that you're high-minded. So like, you're not petty. You're not trying to catch somebody in a gotcha moment or something. And so when it's like, when you share, and that could be the other thing too, is like maybe you've opened up and shared certain things to kind of make it okay for this person. I don't know. And they've seen you like in an entirely different perspective. So what is wanting to come through here with the messages? Look, I hope our paths will cross again in the future. So again, I'm kind of getting that maybe you've been in and out of this person's life. Like they haven't been around you much. It could also be that there's been like kind of two moments in time where this person kind of saw you, and they saw you one way. Look, it's the ass end. That's kind of what I'm getting. But like, they saw you, maybe this person thinks you have a great ass, but like they saw you with small eyes. Okay, I'm kind of getting that. It could be that this person maybe saw you as like a piece of meat or something, or they think you have a really nice backside or something. And they were looking at you like through that lens, but now they're kind of seeing like, whoa, like something. Now they're seeing the front, and they're like, I've seen the back and I've seen the front. And I really like what's going on here. Yeah. Okay. So anything else that wants to come out through the messages, and then I want to grab the regular tarot. Okay. I never experienced this intense connection before. I'm getting that. You've given this person some type of flavor, like an umami, some type of flavor experience that they've never had before. It could be that you are from a different place or a different culture, or maybe you grew up like overseas or something, and you lived wherever you lived. I don't know. It's like something where like, oh, there's that. It's like there's some kind of spice in you that they've never like experienced before. Things moved so fast, and I didn't know how to trust my feelings for you. Yeah, I think that because you're always moving, there's something here. You could be always just moving, like you don't sit still for long. And that doesn't have to mean that you like move locations, but I just feel like you're kind of always in motion. Maybe this person feels like they only had a little bit of time here to kind of connect with you, but this person wants to open up and speak. I feel like you just kind of light this person's heart on fire. So, okay, let me get like an actual tarot deck here. Yeah, I think this person maybe sees you as somebody that they would like to socialize with. Maybe they've seen you hanging out with your friends. It's like this person really wants to be a part of that. Okay, so what does this person love most about you? This person's really taken by you. I really feel like that. Yeah, the hangman just came out. I feel like you've helped this person to see the world or to see something in particular in an entirely new light. It added a lot of value to this person's experience. And I think they see you as a very cooperative person. I feel like they see you always kind of juking and jiving with, I just heard the right people. So maybe they think that you know how to like be around the right kind of people, not the wrong kind of people. And so because of that, you've been able to be more cooperative. I think maybe this person, yeah, I'm actually kind of getting this from the darkness, like you have brought in some type of light. And so it could be like that you overlap with this person's kind of shadow space, maybe a place where they feel kind of less secure in themselves. And that may have to do with, I'm seeing the 3 of Cups and the 3 of Pentacles. So it's like work, some kind of collaborative environment, some kind of social environment or something, but you make this person feel welcome. And I think you make this person feel safe. You make them feel welcome, like they know that you're like a good person, but they kind of feel intimidated at the same time. And it creates this kind of potent mix here for this person. Okay, what does this person love most about you? Also, I feel like you might be the kind of person who will make a decision. There's something here about you make being in a group energized, safe, and fun. And so you are very cooperative, but if a decision needs to be made or if somebody's really crossed the line here, then you will kind of say that. And it makes other people feel safe around you because they don't have to put up with something that, even if it comes from a place of ignorance, where somebody's being kind of belligerent or they're just not really self-aware about like what's going on around them. I think that you might be the person to just kind of say like, hey, you're not in your living room, like kind of a thing. And it really makes this person feel kind of safe, and it takes the burden off of other people. Maybe you feel burdened by this, or maybe this is just something you do naturally. I don't know. Okay. What does this person love most about you? I just heard, what do I not love about you? I don't think this person has found like a bad trait or a bad quality in you. They don't. Yeah. There is something here like where you make them feel really, really stable. Yeah. Yeah, I think this person has maybe felt like anxious a lot around people and made to carry on too much responsibility, but there's just a sanity, like a great sanity to you, and just a comfort. And I do think that something is brought out here in this person, like it's coming across as a Queen of Pentacles kind of person, so there could be some type of karmic energy around this person that has been authoritarian with them. It did provide a certain sense of structure that did kind of make their moon energy feel stable, but it also made them feel nervous at the same time. And I think they took on a lot of that, and they were just kind of like feeling very like they had to hide a lot. And so they want to come out into the light is kind of what I'm getting. Okay, so what else is this person like most about you? Oh, you're like your second chakra. So that is a very schmegsual energy. Again, it's just like there's so much energy here. Your confidence, it makes this person feel stable. Like there's something about your confidence and your rootedness and the way that you're kind of grounded that makes this person, it's very alive. You're rooted and like grounded in a very alive kind of way. Very natural kind of way. What else does this person love most about you? Sorry about the shuffling. The truth. Let me hear about the truth. Yeah, they didn't see the truth clearly. You've brought some kind of illumination here. And I feel like you are a revelation in a sense. Like you've brought the light in. You've brought the movement in or something. Maybe to help them see inside themselves or inside other people. You were the comparison that they needed is what I'm getting. Yeah, you've brought in some kind of truth. Because there was somebody kind of sneaking around and they didn't see that clearly. And it was kind of keeping them, they didn't see the truth. It just, yeah, it was keeping them blocked off. And blocked off from like having an equal relationship or something. So how does this person see you? I'm just curious because we're getting a lot of like, there's a lot of fascination, respect, but it feels kind of distant. It feels enigmatic. It feels like you're almost a dream or like, very ephemeral here to this person. But like, how does this person view you? I think they would like to be closer to you is what I'm getting. This person would like to be closer to you. How does this person view you? Wow. Okay. So you just really break the mold for this person. They view you as being very virile. They view you as being very like strong. Maybe they view you as not being able to see them, or like you're not. I think they view you as somebody who hasn't made a move towards them. Like you're safe and everything and they want to kind of step towards you, but I feel like you're kind of they see you, maybe they see you in this Two of Swords. So they see you as being a very like fair-minded person, but they also see you as maybe not seeing them, but they also see you as not initiating a Libran kind of relationship. Maybe they view you as not being open to that because look, we've got the Emperor, the Sun, and the King of Cups, 2 major arcana cards. So they definitely feel like this is a soul connection, some kind of like divinely guided connection for you to bring in some kind of like happiness energy. They view you as like, they have a lot of love for you. They view you as a very creative person, like having a lot of love here. Oh, okay. So they view you in this kind of almost, you really stand out. I mean, like the Emperor and the King of Cups. So you maybe have, and the Sun, you maybe have some kind of leadership role, or this person just views you as that kind of person who is a good decision maker, always kind of knows what to do, very stable, but also happy and creative and emotional at the same time. So yeah, that's what I'm getting is like this person really sees you as somebody that they would want to have more of a one-to-one relationship with, but they kind of have to be respectful about it. They might feel alone in their situation because I feel like, something here about their situation. They want to evolve out of a situation. They want there to be some type of happy new beginning. So I get it though, because this person sees you in like these very glowing terms, really. But their favorite thing about you, the thing that they love most, is that you are still like, you're this impressive person, but you are still very like approachable. You like people, you care about people, you're fun to be around. There's this like very synergistic, like cooperative, available kind of energy. Not that you're definitely not a pushover. You wouldn't be coming up as the Emperor and the Sun, and you're not like, and the Queen of Swords came out there too. Like you have that decision-making quality. You prune the energies. You kind of know what's noxious to that synergistic energy. And so they trust you in that capacity, but it's like you have both. You're very respectful. You can take the lead. You can say yes, you can say no, but at the same time, you're just still very synergistic and like very available. And this person views that as being like a rare thing, a very rare quality to have both of those things. And so that's why I think I'm not seeing so much in the way of that Libran dynamic. Like I said, I think they would like that. They would like to know you more on a one-to-one basis. But I think that you're busy, first of all. There's maybe something here to do with a position. So this person seems kind of self-aware. And aware of their surroundings and also aware of you. They're thinking about you. They are thinking about like empathetically. They're not trying to be a burden on you. They know you've got a lot on your plate kind of a thing. Like, so yeah. But I think they want to send a message, or maybe you've sent them a message or something here. And I feel like this person has seen you as being very noble, maybe as having gotten to a place where you've gotten in yourself and in life, like because you've done things like kind of the right way. And again, there seems like maybe something that this person's had to sort of realize about you, or there was some type of message here that's like been expressed. But yeah, I think this person just overall finds you very impressive. It doesn't feel like they've seen you behind the curtain. I think they would like that though. They would like to have more of an intimacy there. But they're not sure if they're what you need. I think this person knows you bring a lot of value to the table, and they don't just want to mooch off of your energy. And so, but this person, I do kind of see them saying to themselves, like, what would I add to their life? Like obviously I would gain a lot from being around this person. What would I add to their life? And could I be a person that could add to their life? Could they be a person around me? Or do I expect them to always sort of be this like glowing, impressive person and not somebody who's going to fart on the couch after, downing a bag of Cheetos or something like, you know? Like, there's an anxiety here around an ending. I think this doesn't have anything to do with you. I think this person's maybe juggling something here. And you bring a lot of comfort. I don't know. You bring some type of comfort here. I think they'd like to talk to you about this as well. Because they view you as having some type of different healing perspective. And also they view you as somebody who's gone the distance. So I feel like this is somebody who maybe, I think this person learned something about you that, oh, right. Like you're not Athena that popped out of Zeus's head fully formed, you know, that wherever they know you from, you worked your way up to that or something. Like, I think this person maybe realizes that you went through something similar to what they went through before you kind of healed from it or like got beyond it. And they're very curious about that. This person is curious about the human side of you. They're very curious about your past. And I think this person's just impressed with like the way that you've transformed like through your past. This is kind of not a moron, like in the sense where they're like, I see the position that you're in now, and I think that's your entire personality. And it's, again, you were Athena fully formed. This person knows that you were a kid once, that you were a teenager, then you went through young adulthood. You went through all the awkward stages of, puberty, figuring out who you were. You dated some trash idiots. You maybe changed your major several times. You maybe went through periods of unemployment or something. This person is actually very curious about like the human moments of your story and how you seem to have weathered that. So I think this person will get on their feet and they'll kind of go a long way just for having that kind of very empathetic perspective about other people. But I think that's all I want to say about this person. They're kind of enamored. There is like this at a distance. You seem like really, really great. I feel like they want to kind of color in the fine lines of you, but they just find you to be really impressive. Like just a very impressive person that's also down to earth, very like pro-social, like cooperative, collaborative, not trying to like kind of lord over people. They view you as like not bypassing things, but actually truly transcending through like your human experience. And yeah, so, and like I said, I don't think they exactly know what it is, but I think that there's just something here and they're curious about what that thing is. And it's pulling them in, and I think it might literally be pulling them into a death experience that they might not understand, and that is the answer that they're seeking. I feel like your energy is giving this person some type of answer. And it's like they're getting pulled in. And I think the answer that they're seeking from you lies just beyond some kind of a death energy. But like it's scary. I'm just kind of seeing somebody go like up and over like a waterfall or something. And you don't know what's on the other side. You don't know how big that waterfall is, And so it feels like that. It feels like this person's kind of churned into your energy, but it feels healthy and positive and vibrant. And I think this is the thing that they see in you, that you've gone through some kind of big death experience that you don't talk about or, they know you haven't had it easy, kind of a thing. So that's what I have for you guys. Pound number 1. Okay. Do I think that this person will come towards you? I think if you want this person to come towards you, it would go a long way to making the first move. Like, I don't know, this maybe, because like, I think they see you a lot hanging out with your friends and stuff. Like they view you as being interested in like your friend group and stuff. So if you kind of, went out of your way to acknowledge this person, like when they walked into a room every time, or something like just make sure that they know that you're acknowledging them. Stuff like that'll go a long way to this person and feeling comfortable. And they'll probably approach you in a group first is kind of what I'm getting in order to kind of build things up, because they kind of need to move slow. I think this person is a bit on the less confident side, but once you kind of let them know, like kind of help them with the bridge from your side, then yeah, I think they will. Yeah. You're going to a trip to a waterfall soon? Jealous. Was that Alex cackling in the background? It was. He laughed at the fart joke. Okay. Give her one of your favorite rocks. Yes. Okay. So I think this person could come towards you, but I think that they're just a little suffering in the confidence space. And it seems like something that they've been involved in for a long period of time. Might be their mom. It's some kind of Queen of Pentacles energy. And it's made them kind of feel always on edge and like kind of hyper vigilant and not sure if they're wanted and comparing themselves in a negative way. So again, if you're just like very friendly and you show this person that you really like them, and even just on like a friend level, that yeah, I think they will bridge the gap. So okay, let us put this back up here. We just finished pile number 1 if you're joining us, and we're moving on to pile number 2, as you do. And pile number 2 is the Shapeshifter, and pile number 1 was the Mystic. Love it when a pile is flowing so seamless. Same. May your trip be adventure and peace. That's so sweet. Yes. All right, let me just have a little drink. I'll put some lip gloss on. If you're just joining us, we're moving into pile number 2 as we speak. Yeah, everyone will discover their own way of confidence sooner than later. Brings a uniqueness. Yes. Yes, yes. All right. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Let us do pile number 2, the Shapeshifter. Okay, interesting. Oh, look. Okay, so I just grabbed this deck. So exaltation, and power fell out here. Exaltation and power. Okay, so I'm getting that this person finds you to be really feminine. Even if you're a masculine, they find you to be like, they're really drawn into your feminine side. The way that you kind of decorate yourself, present yourself. This person finds you extremely physically, schmegally attractive. This person likes the way that you move. I just heard like wiggle. But this to me feels very erotic. Like there's a sensuality here to this group. This person is the kind of person I think who would find like just regular everyday things that you do erotic. Like if you're trying to like eat your oatmeal, this person would like just be like dialed in, just kind of looking at that. There's a lot of like chemistry. There's a lot of attraction here. Yeah, they just find you. I feel like even from the moment that you walked into a room for the first time, this person kind of like, I just heard, take my breath away. So I feel like this person, yeah, you just took their breath away and they were like, who is that? Like, you know, and it's not just the look of you either. It has to do with like your personality. The color magenta is like really coming through. Not because I think that, I mean, magenta might be some type of like connection here, but it's like that where there's something about you that's so unique. This person finds you to be just really, really, they've never seen anything like you, but it's kind of like neon, like a neon color where you're vibrant, you stand out. Maybe against like a drab background. I think this person really likes your personality. I just heard you're not annoying. So like you bring like a vibe or an interest or a pop of color that is not annoying or abrasive. Like to this person, it's very like fluid. You bring this kind of like fluid sort of energy, and it feels like a social kind of lubricant as well, like a communication kind of like talking point is what I'm getting. So you might be the kind of person who can make people who feel kind of like really awkward not feel awkward. You know, find like they have something to talk with you about. Get them kind of going in conversation. Keep that conversation going. You ever play that game where you try to keep the balloon up from touching the ground? It's like in conversation, I feel like you can kind of do that in a way that is, just seamless. And this person may be hiding their feelings for you, or they might be hiding the fact that they feel like romantic towards you, because there could be like a friendship here. There could be one kind of relationship that's out in the sunlight so it's like, oh, we're friends. We do this like banter thing, you know, or we work together and we do that really well. But there's like this hidden kind of attraction that is coming through. So let's just see what else. Okay. You really rocked their world. Like, you are so different, and it has to do with your Mars energy. I'm telling you, you might have some insecurities here about your body, but I'm telling you, this person is like super, super into it. And it maybe breaks the mold. So it could be that they find you to be attractive, but in a way that is like non-traditional. But yeah, there's something here about like, it could even be for some of you, like if this person is with somebody else, like they are still noticing that you're attractive, kind of a thing. I don't like tapping into that energy, and I'm not gonna go super far. You can still notice that people are attractive though, even if you're in a relationship, kind of a thing. But yeah. So let's see. What does this person, I almost asked, what do they find attractive about you? Because that's, but we're doing what do they love most about you, but it's like there's so much attraction that's coming through here. But what do they love most about pile number 2? What do they love most? This is the kind of a connection where you might want to make sure that there is more substance here, because this person is so taken by you. Okay, so what do they love most about you? Okay. Okay. So there's so much attraction here. It feels actually very mutual. If you guys ever did the thing, I feel like this kind of blew both of your minds, like on what is like possible in that kind of experience. But I feel like what this person likes is that you confuse them. I think they might be wondering like if you're playing a little game of cat and mouse, if they're supposed to kind of like chase you, because I think this is somebody who kind of knows that the connection is mutual. So they're like, why are like, and they might wonder if there's somebody kind of in the background, but they're like, why is this like not just happening, kind of a thing? But they also might like, for some of you, I feel the Justice card came out when I was shuffling. Like I kept seeing it multiple times. So they like that you're fair, and maybe they like that you made a decision here, because this is the group where, not for everybody, but there really could be something not correct about this, like not fair. Like somebody is already in another relationship. And so even though there's attraction here, you still just put the kibosh on it and you still treat them like a friend. This person actually likes that most about you. And for some, I feel like that's a deep lesson here of, like, especially if you're in some kind of role or something where you are, I don't know, this person's doctor or therapist or architect or like whatever, that it actually, despite the attraction here, the thing that was most important on a soul level, this is just for some, is knowing that people have decorum and that people will hold to their values, that they respect the partnerships that they're in. Because despite like kind of falling into some kind of like instantaneous like attraction where you both do something that you're going to regret, the fact that you don't do that, and the fact that you have like virtues and stuff, and that you treat the people that you're in relationship with in a fair way, is maybe what this person actually loves most about you, even despite the attraction, which means you're dealing with an excellent person, by the way. But yeah, and I think maybe somebody who's been hurt before, but that's again just for some of you. But I think that it could be though that this person, there's a lot of different scenarios that this could be. Okay. The one that I just mentioned, maybe there's something kind of hidden here. I'm also getting though that maybe for some of you, this person, there is a lot of attraction between the two of you, but they did have something hidden, and it doesn't even have to be a relationship. It could be like a sneaky link kind of an energy. And you saw that and you were confused and you moved away. And again, like, it's like you hold yourself to some kind of high self-esteem with that Libran energy. You made some kind of decision. You're like, this is not fair treatment for me, for her, for you, for anybody involved in this situation. So it's not on, even though there's a lot of attraction here. So I think this person, again, like kind of really respects and admires you, but they're kind of confused about this moon energy. They're so confused about what's hidden because there's such strong attraction. It feels to be very mutual. And they are, maybe if you rejected this person, even though there's a lot of attraction here, then I feel like it made them feel kind of bad. Not that I think you should feel bad about that. I think that you had your reasons. It kind of got them up in their head, and it kind of got them up in their emotions, and they maybe felt like they weren't good enough. But look, they're maybe trying to actually escape that. They're trying not to think about it too much, but there is like a functioning dysfunction here where, again, maybe they have somebody else, or like they are like having some type of secret. There was some type of like hidden energy here. So for some of you, you were able to kind of like pick up on that hidden energy. And just because there's a lot of attraction here, and it feels like on a lot of levels, it feels like there's just a lot of physical attraction. Physical attraction does not always transfer over into actual physical chemistry, but it feels like that's here too. And so this is like a really hard situation to kind of pull yourself away from. But there's also a personality connection here. It's like on a lot of levels, there's like just a lot of chemistry here, but chemistry isn't substance. and it's not always fair. So I feel like, yeah, this person was maybe thinking that they were going to play the same kind of game with you. And I think maybe they thought it was a layup or that it was in the bag or something because of the level of attraction here. But again, there's some kind of fairness that you have. This person puts you up on a pedestal, especially if you did have to walk away because something here wasn't fair. Okay, so, oh my gosh, this person is coming through as like feeling sad, feeling ashamed, and feeling defensive in this connection, which makes me think that some of you kind of rejected this person. I don't think you wanted to reject this person, but I think you had to, because I think something here wasn't like, maybe they feel weird about some kind of friendship you have. This person, you know what they like? They like that you make them jealous. They like that you get them in their head. They like that they can't figure you out. They like the game element here. I don't think you're trying to play a game, but I mean, it really like stimulates this person's senses. So this person is like kind of going over and over in their mind, like what exactly happened here, because they're worried about some type of friend that's around you, or they're worried about something that went on in the past. They're worried that maybe they misread this situation, even though I think they know that this is very mutual. Like maybe you just liked them as a friend, what was actually going on behind the scenes. But I think that this person maybe gave you mixed signals and you were confused. There's a lot of confusion here and misunderstandings. And I think it could be because somebody was hiding something or somebody else, whether it was an actual relationship or whether it was like a sneaky link on the side. Somebody here was hiding something, and I want to say that you knew it, and it wasn't on with you because it wasn't fair. If that's the scenario, this person's like more obsessed with you because you said no. Okay, what does this person love most about you? Oh my gosh. I mean, you're this person's like ideal marriage partner kind of a thing. They love to like fantasize and daydream about you. Oh my gosh, there's so much attraction here. Yeah, and I just asked like, why is it coming across? It's almost coming across in this like forbidden space. So there's like the Justice card keeps coming out. And so look, there's like anxiety here around... Oh, okay. For some of you, like, especially if this person is like a non-committal type of a person, it could be that they're scared. They're scared of things changing is what they're scared of. So, they could be scared of like it moving beyond this kind of small talk, chit chat, kind of playful. We don't know each other very well, but we banter kind of like energy. They're scared of that because then they think that they'd have to put some work in. And they're feeling this like anxiety because they view you as like, again, somebody that they want to have this kind of faithful relationship with because you're like all the things. So they like this kind of inner tension is what I'm getting though. They like the precipice. So that's something we kind of be aware of here. Because so far it's like there is a lot of attraction. There is a lot of chemistry. Chemistry is not necessarily substance. It feels like there's this kind of precipice energy of, do we turn this into substance or not? And so, but this person, they kind of like sitting on that precipice where they're feeling all the energies of being pulled in these kind of two directions. They, in a way, kind of like the anxiety here. They like the confusion about like who you're with. But once they take the plunge and like you guys are in a relationship here, I feel like, yeah, that's when maybe this person gets a little bit sneaky or something like that. Maybe that is what happened and you like, yeah, look, the Knight of Wands. That's not a great energy. 7 of Swords and the Knight of Wands is like a fuckboy, you know? So they like, okay, you know what? It could also go that like this person likes that you make them think about building. You make them thinking about, you make them thinking, you get them tongue-tied. They don't know how to describe this precipice that they're on. They don't know how to describe what they actually like about you because I think they're simultaneously scared of moving forward with you and that being everything that they kind of want, and they're scared of missing out on that opportunity. They like that you make them want to kind of change their ways, get their shit together, get on like the straight and narrow and actually work towards something in their life. And I think that is more than just in this relationship. I think like this is a person who's just maybe willy-nilly with it. Maybe they're going through a phase. Maybe it's more than a phase, but I feel like, yeah, they like that. But at the same time, it's like they like being independent and maybe having perpetual third-party situations. I don't know, like that are kind of long-term, or this might be a person that has a habit, to be honest, like of getting into secret situations at work or something. And maybe they like that. So There's a very smexually driven person for sure. And that's always going to be kind of dangerous, but maybe you can tame the bull on this one if that's something that you want to do. Which sounds like an exhaustive nightmare to me. But, for some of you, this person, well, what are they going to do? They don't know. They like being in this precipice energy. They do. So they don't like to necessarily be fully in or fully out because it's not exciting to them. What do they like most about you? Oh my gosh, they like that you are sort of also in judgment of them. Like you also have your own decision to make about them, and then it makes them on the defense. They like that. This is a weird person. They're just coming through. Like I'm just seeing somebody biting their nails. Like there's so much anxiety that's coming through here. They like it because it makes them feel alert. It makes them feel alive. It makes them feel engaged. But I think you'd have to be wary here of like, do they like you or do they like these sensations? This feels like a sensationally driven person. This is reminding me, I think it was like a John Locke kind of, did he write a book on parenting? And it was like, he believes that like your kids, you should not raise to be sensorial beings. And if you kind of, if you reward your kid with sensorial pleasures, like after they do something that you want them to do, like you make a habit of it, you do it all the time. And so it's like if they do the thing that you're asking them to do and you give them a brownie or something, it doesn't turn them into rational thinking creatures where they're driven by connecting with some kind of intrinsic inner thing inside of them that like leads them towards like wanting to make the right decision because it feels good to make the right decision because you understand logically how it affects like all the people and systems around you, and you're working towards something that is over the long term making your life and other people's lives infinitely better. You're just doing it to get the brownie, this like kind of sensational thing. And I feel like you might be dealing with a bit of a sensorial creature here, which might be hot at first, but where does this go in the long term, you know? Because, and they also do, this could be somebody who sabotages as well because they like, now they don't, this is like a subconscious thing. It's like they like the hormonal cocktail, the chemical stew of being on this like defensive kind of state and you sort of like judging them and are you going to stay and are you going to go because you're a big loss to this person because I kind of feel like nobody's really made this person feel the way that you have made them feel. Stimulated. I'm getting like you make this person feel stimulated and it's like on a lot of different levels. But are you this person's like DRUG? You know, are they kind of using you and to get a high sort of a thing? Do they know how to transform that into something, into an actual relationship? I don't know. And I kind of don't think so. It's like this kind of precipice sort of energy of I really, really want to. And that feels like a risk. This person feels like a risk taker. So it feels like a risk to them. Do I let go of my roster and like kind of go over here? That's such a risk. I really don't think it is much of a risk, but like to this person, that's how they're kind of viewing it. Yeah, they just like that you can make them jealous. Because for some of you, they were sneaking around trying to have some type of third party situation, either with you or somebody else, and you've put them in like a state of grief. This is what they like most about you. This is what they like most about you. Why is this what they like most about you? Because I just don't understand this kind of person, maybe. Okay, so their wish fulfillment is like, getting the things that they want as like kind of trophies. And this might even be multiple partners, but like kind of keeping things a secret, like kind of keeping a lot hidden there. And it's all kind of like, it's very egotistical. And they maybe like keeping you or like their partners in the dark and also making them feel responsible. This person, I don't really like their energy. They're kind of coming across like a game player. Why is this what they like most? But you flipped the script on this person. You really did. You stood your ground, and it is the high ground here in some kind of way. The other thing is, you know what it is? I feel like they're kind of I feel this person is looking in a mirror reflection of themselves because I think this person, you know what I think is going on here? You're like the light sider Jedi version of this person who's like the dark sider Sith version. I think maybe, I don't know who you date, like if this is a homosexual couple or if it's a heterosexual couple, because if it's heterosexual, I feel like the genders are just kind of different, but you share the same exact qualities where like you're, I think, very attractive You're also very like kind of sensual. This is like more than skin deep. You have a personality on you, and you have the ability to kind of be smooth. People are coming at you all the time, and you have to kind of beat them up with a stick because you're not a game player, and you have empathy. And so it doesn't feel good to you to like muck people around and keep things kind of hidden, and to collect these kind of trophies. It doesn't feel good to you. And so it gets this person in their head about their lifestyle and about fulfillment in general. And they start to kind of have anxiety about, wait, am I going the wrong way? So I think that you have actually played a major role in this person's life story and their life journey. This is a very rare experience that this person is having, where you've given them this sort of think moment, where they've got to decide, am I going left or am I going right? And they're scared of actually making the wrong choice because I think this person was just used to being able to use people, used to being able to hide and get away. But I think because you bring your own magnetism and your own sexiness and things like that, it's like, you saw something here about this person. I'm not saying that you saw everything behind the curtain, but you saw that there was a curtain, and that looked pretty suspicious, where I feel like there's something here where this person is just like able to look a certain way, in charge, in control. Like they've got a lot of trophies here. Like they're able to look like, maybe they're able to look like people's wish fulfillment. And so people don't want to question their wish fulfillment. They don't want to be sober, like in the face of that and say, I need to come back down to earth. I need to put my feet on the ground and really take a hard look at you. People don't do that around this person because people love to be manipulated. We really do. I'm talking about manipulated in the broadest sense of the definition, right? I'm not saying that people like to get taken advantage of and things like that, but manipulated into being able to like be brought through and ushered through an experience. I feel like that's what this person kind of does. And you offer the same energy. For once, I feel like the shoe was on the other foot with this person, where they were actually drawn into you, into somebody the same way that they kind of draw other people in. They're like, this is a really special, unique person, where there's a lot of physical attraction here. There's actual chemistry here, not just physically, but also like on a personality level. It's like they kind of know that there's not gonna, it's like your unicorn. Like they're never going to meet another unicorn, but you put your foot down. You didn't just kind of go along with their program. And so they like that you cut free from it. For some of you, this person may have something, like they might have money, or because you cut away from their milk and honey, basically, whatever it was that they were trying to offer you, the land of milk and honey. And that could be some kind of sweet illusion, or it could be that actually maybe this person has something in the world, but you cut away from it. And so it got this person thinking like, wait a second, I think I just lost my goose. Like, I'm just picturing those birds in the background, like geese mate for life kind of thing. Like, I think I just lost my goose by like dicking off like this. So you've made this person actually stop and reflect and consider their actions that they've had on people. So I'm curious about this. Why does this person like you so much? What? For some of you, like, okay, I think this person's used to keeping things light and kind of like, superficial. And that's how they keep people thinking that they're their wish fulfillment, because people don't want to look too deep, So it started off maybe like really like kind of light or interesting or something. And then you straight up had a fight with this person. As soon as you realized that something here was going on, and they were like, you weren't afraid to kick it up into that other gear. If you were like, wait a second, I didn't realize you were a hidden enemy, and those defenses like really went up, or you told this person like, oh, you're a fuckboy, something like that. Like, here I was, you did your little wish fulfillment mirage, and I thought you were, noble or some kind of king of pentacles in the making or something. You're a fuckboy. Oh, and you weren't afraid to just kind of like call it out, Yeah. Also, some of you just shut down the passions real quick. But you're still kind of sunny towards this person. They're amazed by that. So what else does this person love most about you? This is an interesting pile. Oh my gosh. You have really gotten to this person's head. I mean, you really have, like, deep in there, because this person is like, everything that comes out is like they're in anxiety, they're on a precipice, like they're wondering like if they should change. But this person, there's been some kind of long-standing pattern, something here that they've like really, really invested in, and it could be some kind of secret relationship or some kind of clandestine personality even. They have an entirely different personality behind the scenes than what they present to you and to like their partners and to the world during daylight hours. Like it just feels like that. And this person's like, wow, I think something here needs to change because look, judgment energy. I feel like you in some way, something about your energy like unearthed this person's like skeletons in their closet, and you maybe cast like judgment. They kind of view you as this like angelic creature, but I mean that as like, you know, the archangels are really, they're forces to be reckoned with. They're not like, they don't have toxic positivity. Like, not at all. You know, if you need to get your behind handed to you, they can arrange for that to occur. Like, you know, and they don't feel bad about it because they see the benefit of all things. They have that high energy. And so it's kind of like that, you know, this person knows that there's kind of a righteousness, and it's not that it's not like self-righteous, negative self-righteous energy that's coming off of you. It's just a righteousness of like, I know what you were hiding, you know, like there's a force of energy kind of behind you. I think they view you as a hot-blooded woman, to be honest, or a hot-blooded man. You know, they just view you as kind of hot-blooded, like so sexy, so attractive, but also if somebody needs to get told, they'll get told. And if you don't want to get told, maybe you should behave in a manner that means that people don't need to hand you your ass back to you, you know? So, okay. What else do we need to know about this person? Because this person kind of confuses me, the reason that they're like this. Because these are all the things that I don't like. Anxiety. Look, oh my gosh, the tower moment. I feel like for a lot of you said no. I feel like you said no. No. And you made this person feel ashamed. I really am getting that you made this person feel ashamed. And that's what they like most about you. This person respects you. And they don't respect people they sleep with. Let me just say that. They don't respect people that they sleep with. This seems like a person, like this is a heterosexual man, first of all. Maybe that's question. Maybe not so much. Maybe there's some repressed something that's going on here. But I just get that they might respect men, but douchey men, you know, men that kind of sling it around. And it feels like that was confirmation. Yeah, I feel like they might respect men with psychopathic traits. This is a kind of guy that mistakes psychopathy for masculinity. Emily, thank you so much for the super chat. This is the predator energy who manipulates their way into weekly piles. He is banished. So this person though, I think respect that kind of psychopathic, be selfish, don't care about other people. But there's something about your energy that is much stronger. It feels stronger to me than this other influence, whatever it is that they kind of actually respect, because it's like this person wants to not care about other people, but I wonder how you've done that. How did you make this person feel ashamed? I mean, this is just like a lantern kind of energy. You illuminated that this person was dicking around, that they had options, that they had some type of plan here, that they were trying to tempt you with something maybe. The shoe, I just keep getting that. The shoe is on the other foot where this person is like, now they feel defensive. I also feel like maybe you didn't outright, it's not that you didn't outright yell. It's that there's a way that you argue that doesn't just devolve into name calling. I feel like if you call this person a name, it's accurate. Like if you call him a fuckboy, it's because he legit is a fuckboy. It's not because you're feeling emotional and you're just looking for something to call him. You know, there's an emotional kind of quality to it. It has traction, you know? It's not selfish. You're not yelling at him because you feel possessive over him. You're genuinely outlining how bad the behavior was. And that's for some reason what they like most about you. It breaks a mold. Okay, I'm not going to spend much more time on this, but is there anything else that wants to come through about, oh, you're not their mommy. You're not interested in playing their mommy. I think this person kind of baits people in. They have a whole repertoire where they kind of present this like wish fulfillment energy, but they hide a lot. People don't usually want to look behind the curtain. They don't They don't use their logical brain because they don't interrogate this person. They don't kind of critique this person in their mind where they're like, does that really add up? Because feel like actually if you pay attention, there's things about this person that don't really add up. And then they kind of feel bad for this person. This person's able to kind of make excuses for their behavior by playing the pity card. Like, well, the reason I did that messed up thing is because, and then they'll insert some kind of reason that they want to lead you to believe like, oh, and then you end up giving to them. Like, even though they're a jerk, like they want to kind of bait somebody into mommying them. Like, instead of them getting yelled at, then people are now bringing them breakfast in bed. Like, are you okay, baby? Is that enough? Like, you know, are you going to act like a good person now? Like, it's very that. Because people are kind of always this is kind of giving narc. Like, people are kind of chasing that first impression, that high of like who they thought this person was. Not with you. You're not interested in being this person's mom. I think you see them entirely. You just cut them off. That's what they like most about you. This is an empowered pile. Pile number 2. I would say congratulations. Okay, what is Spirit? I'm just going to end on a message that Spirit has for you in regards of like this situation. I think you probably have a lot to feel proud of if you've dealt with this energy, and if they're feeling this way about you, because you're kind of nobody's fool. You're not interested in being a doormat. Is there anything that Spirit wants to say to you for having dealt with this person? Oh my gosh, like, you're just so internally strong. That's what they're connecting to. And you also have a decorum about you. Like, you don't just kind of fly off the handle. I'm not saying that you don't say exactly what you mean or what needs to get said, because sometimes people conflate that. Like, oh, I didn't fly off the handle means that I enabled an abuser. I about said something I really shouldn't have. I'm going to say it anyway. Like you not flying off the handle is not the same thing as you coddling somebody's like sack, And like, so I feel like there's a good balance here. Yeah. So you've gotten away. Look, we've got the Leo Aquarius axis. So this is like leader and group kind of energy. So while this person is like crying and sad, I feel like they've had to retreat within themselves to kind of like heal. I feel like they need to heal from you. LOL. They feel like you broke their heart. So I feel like you are feeling like this person is a heartbreaker just by trade. This is what this person ultimately brings into every person's life that they get involved with. You're kind of onto it. But I feel like this person feels like you broke their heart. And they're wondering if you are sneaking around here. They're wondering how you had this effect on them. They're thinking that you're like the sneaky person, LOL. But actually, there is a lover's connection here. The divine definitely did bring the two of you together, but the divine also split you two apart. And I think maybe that could be something here for this group where it's like, because I feel like there's a lot of energy here. And so it probably would have left your energy reeling, leaving you kind of confused. Spirit is saying, just because I brought you together didn't mean that I didn't always intend to split you apart. So Spirit's like, usually some people are getting into this like black and white thinking, oh, well, Spirit brought us together. You hear a lot of people who are stuck into Lulu land about spiritual connections. Like, you hear a lot of them say, well, Spirit brought us together. Okay. And Spirit pulled you apart. So you can acknowledge when Spirit brings you together. You need to be able to acknowledge if Spirit is bringing the two of you apart, because it was this motion that did the work here, that kind of unearthed something here. They're one and the same. And it's so that you could find your Empress energy and your stability. And that is truly what's coming through for you. Maybe you found your voice. Maybe you found your strength. Maybe you are typically a nice person, but there was just something about this. You do not suffer a fool lightly. And you had to kind of like negotiate how to be a nice person, but also not be anybody's fool, kind of a thing. And this is going to actually empower you, and you're actually going to get a lot of fruits in your life from being this way. And I feel like that was like a big part of this. So anyways, leaving this energy here, there's a lot of attraction. They really like your inner strength at the end of the day and your decorum. I think also this could be a person that thinks that if you are like Virgo energy, kind of like the prince or the princess, meaning like you have manners or you pay attention to details or something, that you can't be this like inner lion. You can't be this like inner lion, but you are. And I feel like it was important for this person to run into somebody like you, actually. So yeah, that's what we have. Pile number 2. That was a weird one. Also, that person's a bit of a masochist. I don't think that they know that. I think that, okay, the last thing that I'll say is I feel like that person they have a weird thing about them where they present as maybe very dominant, and they're aggressive, or they can go on the offense. They can seem like they go after the things that they want, but I feel like it's actually coming from a submissive place. And where they're submissive to, it feels like that kind of psychopathic energy of don't care about anybody, don't care about, like, they're submissive to some kind of energy like that, whether it's a person or just like an idea or something, because they're looking for like a sense of self. So it comes from actually, it might look strong on the surface when you don't poke your finger right through it, but this is like very, very fragile. This person certainly has a fragile ego, and they're submissive. This is actually like a very submissive energy, and I think this person actually does feel submissive to you. And I think maybe that it's not been that a woman or somebody who's more femme coded or somebody who has like traits like you have has been able to make this person feel submissive, like, or recognize that, oh, I feel there's this like kind of righteousness, but you have managed to do that in the body that you're in and having the traits that you are in. And it kind of rivaled this other energy, whatever it is. It's like the devil on their shoulder, kind of thing. But it rivaled this energy. Like, it was actually very important that this person met you. And I think that I'll just leave that there. Okay, they're submissive underneath it all, for sure. And they don't probably even know that, because this is like somebody trying to pretend like they're strong. This is somebody trying to pretend like they're cool, but they're not. They're just kind of submissive, and they're a follower, but they try to present a different image. And presenting, I think that that's also something, you don't present that image. You really are strong, and you're really not a follower. And I think that there's something about what happened here that really reveals that about the two of you, and that's what they're kind of responding to. Because this person also, they can only follow traits. They don't know what the energetic signature of being strong and not a follower actually even looks like. So they just try to follow their way into leadership or something like that. I don't know. Okay, so leaving that there, pile number 2, cackles in Utara Falguni. I love it. He's just a little bit caught in the middle. His life is a mess. His love was a riddle. Yo. A literal devil that is riding him. Interesting. Haha, he is a huge pile too. Funny. Tell Spirit I don't want this job anymore. It hurts too much. Yeah, you are gaining something out of it too, though, because I feel like it's kind of unleashing your power. Because I think there's something here that you negotiated, like you figured out within yourself, like how to be a nice person, the way that because this is a group that I think values like decorum or manners or something, but you very much figured out how to unleash that lion within and still be noble about it. And that's going to carry you far in life. So it's kind of not just a job that Spirit like assigned you, like you are getting something out of this too. I know, but it hurts. Yeah. Yup. Brain cells intrigued. Damn, just fire. Okay. So I guess we will compassion. Oh, money paid me home. Actually, maybe we could send this into this person's space, because that's like the kind of like the steps to enlightenment, So, all money paid me home to this person. All money paid me home. May all beings be liberated. May all beings be free. And that includes you, Bucko or Buckita. Okay. Interesting. I've noticed too, the longer that I've done this job, the more that like I can remember doing these kinds of readings back in the day, and I would just always try to stay so much on topic. Like, okay, what do they love most about you? But now you'll notice that I meander a lot in the readings, because I really do like value this kind of holistic perspective. And I started to realize that I was picking up on a lot of different situations. And so like what they love most about you, well, it might be like your hair, or it might be your laugh, or like these kinds of superficial things. That's what they love most about you. But what if it's a jerk, And so if somebody's tapped into that energy, it might like make somebody re-fall in love with somebody that's like kind of a jerk. And that's why I kind of poke around in the readings a lot more, where it's like, well, actually, let's ground this into some context. And I know that my readings I try to always ground it into some kind of realism, like, so where we don't get too caught up in fantasy. I don't know why I'm saying that right now, but I feel like that's just something that I've really learned. And I think it's a part of being an ethical reader, is to try and not just only tap into the fantasy kind of component, but to actually try to ground it in like well, what's actually going on here with this person? And why do they like those things about you? And I don't know. Bakita took me all the way out. Weaponizing confidence. Okay. I love your readings. I'm glad. Because sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I hate to be like too negative. Because sometimes I think that it's like trying to ground something in reality and reminding ourselves that these aren't like princes or princess charmings. These are real people, you know? I think it's important. Okay. Can I present pile 4? Maybe. Sometimes that's happened, honestly. Like where the general reading ends up turning into a pile number 4. That's happened before. Yeah. I deeply appreciate your realism. Okay, good. Oh, thanks. Okay, so let us move to pile number 3. Pile number 3. What do they love most about you? Let's see. All right, what do they love most about pile number 3, Spirit? What do they love most about pile number 3? What does the person on their mind? Who is this person that's coming through? Who is this person that's coming through? Okay. This is an interesting person that's coming through. This is somebody who is actually like a very unique person. They've got a lot of energy behind them. They're really trying to kind of go their own way in life. But they do have a lot of karmas around this, like around being able to actually kind of clear the atmosphere, you know? So they've got a lot of karmas, personal karmas, that they have to make up for themselves, like to themselves, of not self-abandoning, not getting swept away, actually kind of everything that I was just talking about. Oh yeah, because I'm kind of getting that like this is sort of maybe a haven. Like this kind of community is maybe more of a, on a spiritual level, a community for people that have a lot of karmas. This does come through in the readings a lot. Karmas to make up to self, where they don't, again, like they see things for exactly as they are so that they can advocate for themselves. And so there's some karmas here to do with that so that they can actually break free. But this is kind of like, again, clearing the atmosphere to get out of a certain kind of karmic cycle or a certain place and really like express their own uniqueness. So this is a very interesting person, and they might appreciate that you are psychic here with this like watery sort of energy. Yeah, it might have to do with some kind of past energy, because again, this is a person with karmas from the past to kind of like clear up. So, okay, the energies for some of you, this might be switched. So it could be that that's what they actually love about you. Oh, okay, I'm getting it. Okay. Yeah, there was some confusion here at the start of this. So I feel like this person was dealing with some kind of confusion, and you have maybe helped to clear up that confusion. They were dealing with a kind of person that they needed to have some kind of new beginning, it feels like, away from. But in order for them to actually move away from that energy, which was coming through as the Pisces card in this deck, which is very like alluring, but also there's a kind of like petulance or like nose up in the air kind of energy to the way that this card is like depicted in this deck. And so it's like whatever it was very alluring. Now it could be a person or it could be some type of like kind of past cycle, but I feel like they like that maybe you put up some kind of stone energy to that. I don't know where you are in this, so take this from whichever angle it's kind of coming from. But yeah, somebody here is like really trying to embrace their uniqueness, and they needed to heal. Yeah, I feel like they've been caught in this cycle for quite a while because I'm getting Shadabishak energy, which is kind of in the middle of Aquarius, which is a healer energy. So there's a healing kind of yoni. So it could be that what they love most about you is this kind of healing quality, but I don't feel like you're trying to heal this person. It just feels like a side effect maybe. But that is one of the hardest places in the zodiac. People can live like thousands of lifetimes at that like one location because it is like the demons that they're trying to kind of fight. And this person maybe seems like they have a lot of demons, but it kind of comes from themselves, like not being able to, it's the karma around themselves, standing up for themselves, going their own way, stop self-sabotaging. But, you know, it's easy to kind of say stop self-sabotaging, but it's harder to map out exactly how you self-sabotage by falling into a fantasy, by, you know, not wanting to see what's there, or by over prioritizing somebody else's needs and under prioritizing your own, like certain things like that. I don't know. So what does this person love most about you? I mean, Jupiter, like it's your Jupiter energy. It exalts in Cancer. So there's some type of like knowledge or expansion. You've either helped this person to expand their knowledge about family, maybe about feeling stood over in family. You know, pile number 1 and 3 are very not superficial things to like most about a person, which I feel like is actually a really good sign. So they like your knowledge, your expansion. Oh, I get it. What they like most is your own journey and your own path. Because I feel like there's a kinship here between you and this person, where you're both on that same kind of path. And it reminds me of that Ram Dass quote, like we're all just walking each other home. So I feel like you guys are friends. Like this feels like butt buddies. This feels like you guys are really walking each other home. But there's like an expansion that you've brought into their life that is really exalted. And you've helped them to expand their knowledge of maybe family dynamics, about maybe walking on eggshells, around like tiptoeing. And because this person's learning how to be more direct with the Aries energy, because you've got the energies that came up here. We've got Aries and you've got Cancer. This is a squaring energy. Aries is the self, and Cancer is family. It's tradition. It is expectation. So this is somebody who maybe always sacrifices their self on that altar. And this is lifetimes. This is like previous lifetimes. They always are convinced to sacrifice themselves on that altar. And I feel like they didn't have any defenses towards that because they didn't have any knowledge. They could have felt ganged up on, you know, in those spaces, but they didn't have any knowledge about, like, they kind of knew, they felt on the inside that something felt wrong, that if somebody loved them or something, they shouldn't be asked to self-abandon, but they didn't have like the knowledge about why that was wrong. And so I just feel like they would always kind of go along with it, but they're really having to distinguish themselves from that kind of traditional energy. But I feel like you guys understand each other in that way. Your journeys might not have been the same exact thing where it's like, oh, your families are the same exact way, because that would be crazy, right? But it's like the underlying patterns are kind of there, the guilt or the manipulation or something. So you both understand each other. And it could also be that if this is like you guys are a couple here, then it's like you both understand that in your own way, and you have given the other person a platform or like a footing to be themselves and to be loved for who they are. But maybe your life has also maybe gone down a bit of a different track, and that's actually very healing probably for both of you. Okay, so what else do they love most about you? This feels very... They love the way you love. This is sweet. They love the way that you love. This feels like a permanent partner. Maybe some of you are asking about like your future spouse or something. That's just the energy that I'm getting here. This is like a real connection. That's what they love. That you show them what a real connection is, or is like it's supposed to be, or it's supposed to feel like, because you actually care about them. Oh my gosh, like that's what this is with the Venus. It's like you actually care about them. You care about where their line is. Like if I just feel like they came from a family or something here where it's like if they didn't feel comfortable doing something, then that didn't matter. It's like that's what you're supposed to be doing. They would get pushed into it anyways, like from guilting or whatever. But if they don't feel comfortable doing something, you actually care and you're like, well, let's shift around. Let's do something different. It feels very actually equitable in a way that you don't have to be brainwashed to say like this is what relationships are, or this is it. Just you naturally are in a rhythm because there's actual tender, loving care. And I feel like this person, oh my gosh, this is really sweet. I feel like they feel that they've blossomed like with you and under your care. I think for a lot of you, this is like a partnership, but this also could be like butt buddies. Also with the Jupiter energy here, though, it could be that somebody here is like a teacher or something, but it feels like, I don't know. It's like they've really bloomed. They've really actually blossomed. And this is a kind of knowledge that has to be experienced in order to be understood. They're not told, because I feel like they were in an environment before where they were told like, this is the right thing. This is what growth is. This is what relationship is. And it never felt right from the inside out, but with you. And like, I also think that there's a rhythm to like the kind of conversations that you have. This person really likes your conversation because they feel like they can actually be themselves. And they also know that it's not a waste of their breath to have a conversation with you. You will hear them. You will really hear them. This is really, you're like a safe person, pile number 3. That's what they love most about you. I think they also might like that manipulation doesn't work on you. Like their family's crap doesn't work on you. You kind of see through it. And it could be because you've dealt with your own stuff. So, yeah. Because I feel like there's an expectation of ritual around like family, but it feels also like to do with your, like when people tell you, why don't you smile more or something, it's like there's a ritual that comes down to this micromanaging of your emotions and your face and the way that you're supposed to kind of present yourself. You never just get to fully be yourself. That's how this person felt. They never can just exist naturally as a human being and allow themselves to like the things that they like and to not like the things that they don't like. But with you, like when there's those moments where you should be kind of polite and be like, oh yeah, that's great. Like you'll just kind of sit there, where if you can tell that someone's full of shit, like you'll just kind of like not give anything away. And this person actually appreciates that because I feel like that's how these people have maintained a kind of control over them and their behavior is through obligation, and it's through kind of these like weird nitpicky little things. But like you just kind of allow them to be. You don't get sucked in to the dance and to the obligation and stuff. And so probably you've made yourself a target. Not that you've made yourself a target, but probably these people that they are breaking away from have felt threatened by you maybe because they can't control you because you make up your own mind and you encourage this person to do the same. This is a great pile. Like quality of human, top notch kind of a thing. They also like that you keep certain things private, like between the two of you. And you may have done this publicly as well, where this person has noticed that like the right answer to a question, if you were genuinely being like clear, would have been one thing, but you blurred it. You weren't like, you masterfully handled it in some kind of way in order to protect them, in order to kind of gray rock with them, in order to not give somebody some kind of like private information about them. They've noticed that like you've kind of you've played the game where you're not coming across like you're just sitting there like, well, I'm not going to answer it. Like that's going to cause a bigger problem. You have this way of handling yourself in a social capacity, but also kind of blurring things and keeping what's sacred and keeping what's private. This is such an impressive group. I just keep coming back to that. I feel like the longer they're with you and the more they really understand, like this is what love is. I could cry right now. Like I feel like you're teaching this person what love is. Like actually what love is. I think this person's nervous system has like finally started to really calm down around you. There may have even been some kind of healing crisis that you didn't realize was a healing crisis, where it was like this person, I just got goosebumps all over my body, where of this person just kind of finally releasing on some kind of like stressful way of being and operating. And as they kind of set all of that down, it was so huge. It was such a huge kind of burden that it feels just like maybe there was this big kind of processing like thing, and then they settled in. I feel like, or they're in the process of doing it, they settled into like a new state of just comfort, of like, I know that I'm accepted and I know that I'm loved. And the things that have grown from that, you might like really have actually seen that in this person, and they love that you love that about them. Like you don't feel love towards them because you can control them. You feel love when you see them. Oh, I just heard at peace. Like that could be something that you guys say to each other. Like, I don't know, if you see this person like resting on the couch, you might just, oh my gosh, not in a creepy way, but just like sit and watch them or something with a smile on your face, because you like to see this person feel safe in their home, feel safe in their body, feel comforted, feel at rest, feel at peace, But it also could be something that this person, like when they light up, when they're like, actually expressing something that they couldn't express when they were with their family or something. Like that feels really beautiful. This is what love is what I'm hearing. This is what it should feel like. Yeah. This is what it should feel like, is what I'm getting. And it's like the longer that they're with you, the more that they heal and like just know that this person really, 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 really appreciates you. There's something here about privacy. It keeps coming up. Like where I don't know if they've got nosy people around that are always trying to like butt into their business. And because that's kind of the way that these people have maintained some kind of control. But it feels very much like they will warp or distort any beautiful little thing that they see about this person. You know, they'll say, oh, well, you know, aren't you just I don't know. They'll make any good, beautiful thing into a bad thing in order to like have some type of control. Catherine, thank you so much for the super chat. Forgot my contribution. Thanks, Jess. You're welcome. So, yeah, like they just feel like people are like trying to get in on their business and you just don't give them anything. Or if they try to misconstrue this person's energy into a bad thing and you know how much this person like has tried to no avail, like they just feel so safe with you. They feel so safe. And empowered. Yo, I feel like this person feels like you guys are starting your own family. You have your own home and like they get to choose. They get to choose who they're in a relationship with and you support that 100%. I feel like you could say like, I'm cutting off this blood relative. I don't want to talk to like the lady I slid out of into this world. Like this person would be like, cool. Like if that's what you need to do, then that's what you need to do. And you know, I'm even like hearing myself like from back in the day where I'm like, just for now, I just need some time for now. And it's like, okay, like if you just need some time for now, that's fine. If you know, do you want me to be in the group chat so I can keep you abreast of these things? Do you not want me to? Like, where do you want me to be? Like you are supported. You know, if this is a long-term decision, you have every right to make it. If it's a short-term decision, you have every right to make it. What do you need? You know? Yeah. So this is like real love. I just keep coming back to it. This is real love. Yeah. I also feel like there's something here about this regality, but this is kind of like it could just be that like certain people have really tried to take shots, like pot shots at you or like at them, and they're used to that. This person may have been afraid for you. Like in their family, like you don't understand, they're going to do this or they're going to do that. And you were just like very noble. And so people have tried to take these little pot shots towards you and you literally don't care. And this person, I think you've given this person a perspective, like a third party perspective, where they've seen their family make these weird pot shots at you and they realize that they respect you more. They could see how fucked up it was and they respect you more. And I think maybe that's how people have seen this person, where maybe they thought they were all alone in the world and that people didn't see like how messed up their family was or something. And they're actually realizing that no, certain people could see, or they're realizing why certain people could see, you know? Okay. Anything else? You have like shown a light on something here, but it's from a place that's so well-rounded, like, cause you're very smart intellectually, but you're also like smart of the heart. And so those two things combined have really illuminated something for this person. And I don't think they could have heard it from any other way, like from any other source, like unless there was heart energy. This person knows that you care about them and that you just care in general. They know that. And so they can really trust what you're saying, because I feel like this person's used to people with agendas being around them. And I think the agenda was just to control them and to control the truth and to control the narrative and to control the frame. And so they just came from an environment where truth just doesn't matter a lot. And so a lot of you come from narcissistic family systems where if there is a narc in your family, they just commandeer the truth. They have to. And so everybody's always at each other's throats, and really they should be at one person's throat. And you'll have certain families that can figure that out. I've been fortunate enough to see that in my life, where everybody just kind of turns and says in one voice, you're done, sit down. But also like, until that's the case, like, I feel like you just kind of have to, move away. But you don't have an agenda. This person kind of knows that you don't have any agenda towards them, like, except to just allow them the space and like love them. This was great. And they find you to be really attractive too. Okay. Like, but it's not like in the pile number 2 way, that like exploitative, I want to consume you like way. This is like, wow. Like, they view you as regal, noble. I feel like this person does really like your face. They really like your hair. There could be something glowy about your skin, or there could be something about you that lights up in a leadership kind of a role. There's something just about your essence that this person likes. This person feels like you should be at the top of things. Like you should be a leader. If you were a leader, if you were making decisions, like things would be better in the world. And they truly mean that. They love that you've called somebody out. But I feel like you don't call them out directly because they're used to this like very, this kind of presence around that. Again, it feels very much like it's tried to go on the offense with you or something. And you've just kind of managed to shine a light on it for them. But without being there, or without like, I don't know. Okay, anything else? What does pile number 3's person like most about them? Wow. For some of you, this person, I just heard in the nick of time, like they feel like you came into their life like in just the nick of time, and you offered them something real and something substantial, whereas like all they felt like they had was this 10 of Swords energy. So it feels like they were in some type of group that they didn't feel like they could trust. It was a dog eat dog world, and you kind of offered them something stable and something protected. There is so much protection energy here. You keep boundaries. They like the boundaries you have for yourself, and it empowers this person to keep boundaries, and the two of you hold like a certain boundary together. It's really advantageous for this person, but it also is the kind of like what makes them feel calm. And you offered them that, where I feel like they had already been betrayed and gossiped about, talked about, and they were really torn about maybe starting out on their own or something here. Maybe like going back to the past versus starting something new with you. It's like you offered them something just in the nick of time is what I'm getting. And you helped them. You helped them close out a major karmic cycle. And again, I'm going back to like that Shapeshifter energy. And this person may well be or become a healer of some kind because of everything that they've been through. That is the yoni power of that Shapeshifter energy. But like I said, people will live thousands of lifetimes in that energy. But I feel like you helped them. You were that magic sauce. Yeah, this person feels like you were able to communicate something in just the right way. And it's like to them, but also maybe to their family. Feels like family or their tradition or something here like that. They feel like you've helped them be more independent. And I feel like for a lot of you, this is like a partnership. So it just says a lot that it's like they don't feel like you're controlling. They don't, like you've just helped them to be more independent. Maybe you even encourage that. I don't know how long you've been with this person or what, but like they don't even recognize the self that they were in the past. They're like that poor SOB, like that got like backstabbed and everything. My eyes kind of twitching too, and I'm kind of getting that like, oh my gosh, I was being gossiped about, I was being talked about, like I have been betrayed, people were like, and I didn't even see that, and it was keeping me from my power, and now I'm so independent and I don't even recognize that person, Yeah, this is great. I don't think I have anything else to say here. Just know that this person loves you very, very much. You really made the difference for them. You are such a unique person. They feel like you were the right person at the right time. This is not rescuer energy though. It's just something about like you being who you are, which is a safe person, a loving person. You showed them what love is. You showed them what love is. And I think that you're probably the only person. I have a whole theory that love is actually very rare. It's a very rare experience in our world. I think a lot of us that grew up on Disney, we're kind of taught that it's, first of all, romance and love are two different things. But I think that true love, because love is one of those higher order deficiency needs. So you have to, you have to have certain deficiency needs met to even be really able to love or to trust that other people love you and they're not just using you, kind of a thing. I feel like love is maybe more rare in our world than we think, but that's just a thought tangent that I had the other day. Anyway, what a beautiful energy to end it on. And I feel like it's very mutual. That feels like a mutual energy. And it also feels like there's an energy that's created here where you both do this for each other. So it's like you're paid back in dividends, but it's not transactional. This is not a transactional relationship, but because you've helped this person kind of find their footing and find who they are, that it turns into them helping you kind of like do the same. and you guys kind of just reflect that back. This is like really great. All right. I love pile 3. Yay. Okay, so shall we move on to the general messages? I'm just going to take a swig here. Maybe this is going to turn into a pile number 4. We'll have to see. All right. Compassion. Resonates. Thank you. I'm so glad. Okay. Gregory, I don't know what you're saying about people being in the kitchen and stuff in relation to America. I don't know if you're trying to shit on women or people who were brought over here as slaves, but just a warning for you. Okay. All right. So moving on to the general messages. All right, Spirit. What wants to come through? Maybe I want this pile. All right, Spirit. What do you want to say in the general messages? What do you want to say, Spirit? Okay, maybe some of you don't know which direction to go. Like you're making some kind of big choice here. And it feels like maybe bringing something to a karmic close with the World card, but then also maybe like revamping something with the 2 of Cups. And you're unsure about that. Why are you unsure? Whoa. Maybe there's been some kind of an argument or a tower moment here. Why is this group that's coming through unsure? Oh my gosh, this just keeps falling out of my hands. Okay. It could be that there's some type of stability that's already built, some type of routine here. Yeah, maybe you feel like you're seen in a certain way. Why is this group struggling to make this decision? What's confusing? What's like the crux of that confusion? Judgment about being single. I feel like that's something, it could be subconscious as well. There could be a subconscious, like it's not something that you're necessarily consciously aware of, is maybe how something kind of looks of if you're kind of leaving a situation in order to be single. Yeah, look, the Tower. Yeah, like I think, okay, so for whoever this is coming through for, I feel like there's a feeling that this is going to be sudden and shocking for a lot of people, and that maybe you've invested a lot in this, and that people might ask questions or like just be very nosy and like very confused, and you would be defensive about this. Why would you feel defensive? Yeah, maybe just because you want to be single. Why would you feel defensive? And then I'm going to explore what's pulling you in the other direction here. Why would you feel defensive? Oh my gosh, this just keeps falling out. So I feel like, okay, there's something going on with the processing here, because it feels like you are processing it. But as you're processing it, it's almost like I'm getting like an upchuck, kind of like you're just kind of throwing up like 3 or 4 reasons like all at one time. So it might help this group to kind of slow down and pull those reasons apart just one at a time, because you seem to know those reasons, but they just kind of all come out in like these little bundles, and it feels very like Tower, you know, just like, ugh, like, you know, and it happens kind of quick, almost like you're scared to really look at this, maybe because it makes it real is what I'm getting. So why would you feel defensive around like the whole being single thing? Okay. Scared of some kind of accusation or some kind of argument. Maybe somebody accusing you of being the person who broke up some kind of like teamwork or cooperative like environment. Yeah, and just like kind of fear of the future, especially maybe in regards of like a living situation or yeah, not knowing what your options are. So it feels like you're kind of sitting like stagnant. So like kind of sitting on that like precipice energy. So what is pulling you to stay? That's kind of what's kind of pulling you away, right? And there's like all that defensiveness there. What's pulling you to stay? Okay, well, you've invested a lot, but also there's a secret here with the High Priestess. Six of Cups. So there's a change in your partner. I feel like there's some type of change in your partner. Like you guys have known each other for a long time and you've noticed some type of change in them. It makes you defensive. Something about the past or something about maybe a friendship here. What is this Six of Cups? Oh, thank you. What is the Six of Cups? Do you feel like there's somebody else who would want to get in on your person? It's like you would leave and then you'd look back and your person would be with like an empress kind of figure that was a friend or something. And that's what's kind of pulling you to stay, this kind of comparison. So Spirit, what do you want to say to this group in navigating this space? Well, I definitely am getting that there's more like subconscious things to kind of process. Okay, so now I'm seeing the this energy from pile number 1, this like inner round. So I think they're kind of trying to push you towards this inner experience that I was describing for the pile number 1 person. This kind of like, you know what I think this is? You being on this precipice and having this decision to make is there's a spiritual reason to this. And the spiritual reason is more internal than necessarily external. Because it feels like this is the blockage or an obstacle, right? This is the karma for you to work through. This feels kind of connected to pile number 3 as well. This could be a group that is in that pile 3 energy where there's a lot of karmas to repay to self, so that you're making sure that you're honoring yourself and not just kind of giving in to certain people. But the blockage or the obstacle before you're able to make this decision is to get clear on the inside. And to get clear on the inside, you have to be able to process this information well, thoroughly, and not to be scared of that process. Because there's a lot here that's like shadow, but like hidden kind of subconscious beneath the surface, what the actual fears are. And it's okay. If the fears are like, well, I'm scared that I'm going to be seen as the problem, or I'm scared that I'm going to be seen as being selfish because I leave a situation and people are going to say that, oh, well, you know, my partner tried to work it out, but I didn't want to have that. You know, people who weren't in your relationship, you know, who weren't there on a Tuesday night, you know, who, you know, they're kind of armchair quarterbacking your relationship to kind of blame you. You know, it's okay if these things are kind of, you might be scared that these are superficial reasons, but this is the karmas that it's going to start that momentum. It's going to start that inner churning where you're going to be able to burn lots of karmas because you have this kind of inner process where you know exactly where you stand and exactly what you think. So I'm trying to like work through that. I'm hearing use your tools. Like if for those of you that journal or like you're in therapy or again, the tarot is a tool, like you can use your tools to help you kind of access that inner space, but it's about building that momentum and like kind of building that charge, you know, of being able to process exactly how you feel and therefore feeling confident in your decision, you know, because it feels like there's confusion because you are pulled in 2 different directions and it could be because you want 2 different things out of the situation. You're really unsure. So what else do you want to say, Spirit? Hold on. There's something here about this pile, the way the cards keep coming out. It's like it comes out quickly. Okay, so that's the other thing. You don't have to answer quickly, whether that's externally. So if you're in therapy, for instance, and your therapist asks you a question, I feel like this group might have a touch of the people pleaser, but this is like the teacher's pet a little bit, like where you've got your hand up in class. As soon as the teacher asks like, what is 3 + 7? And you're like 10, you know, like you want to like raise that hand up and be chosen. You want to participate. You don't want to be seen as, and this could be a part of maybe the family experience, like where you were never allowed. It could be that where you were never allowed to settle in your own energy, take several seconds or a minute, to kind of, well, hold on, let me think about that deeply. It could have been like a drill sergeant kind of a vibe, like children are obedient. So you got into this habit of like, when I say hup, you say two, hup, two, and so you're just used to, it's reactionary, but it's like in order to respond. And so I feel like this is a group that's working on not just simply responding to another person's energy in a way that they're looking for, but like setting your own energy, like holding your own space. And you can start with small things. Okay, so I literally just saw two people like eating dinner, and then like your spouse or somebody here that maybe you're thinking about leaving is asking you some type of question, and you're like, well, let me think about that. Take one more bite than you were thinking about taking. Not in like I'm being a douche. Just take up space. I feel like this is a group that just take up a little bit more space for yourself. Give yourself a little bit more time, even if the answer seems to come right away. This goes for your inner processing as well. There needs to be more time and more space here. It could be because you're really busy, maybe for some of you, because there does seem to be a lot going on in the physical maybe. Again, that could be what's like holding you back, is there is some kind of Virgo energy of like, well, this is already built. There's a certain kind of routine here. So just taking up more space. You also might feel like you're a vital component of that routine. And like without you, you might have a lot of Mercury energy where you're able to run that routine and that feels good to you. And you don't really have to think about it much. But if you just take up a little bit more space and force yourself to be a variable, because this is a group that maybe made themselves smaller and smaller and smaller in order to keep the routine going. Everything's for other people, right? Like, keep the routine going. I don't want to take up too much of your time. If I take too much time to think about what I need in the situation, your partner gets a little fussy, just take up a little bit more space, slow it down. And you don't have to just sit there in like absolute silence. Like just say like, well, let me think about that for a second. That's an interesting question. Even if the answer comes to you right away, question the answer that came to you right away about your own like perspective and feeling. Also, this is a group that might benefit from getting one of those books that's like, well, Alex and I have this book, and it's like, it's a question to ask like other people. It's like, I don't know what you call it. It's not like icebreakers, but it's like, we used to be in a habit of doing like our family meetings, and we kind of started off, but it's like, I don't know. It's like kind of, it's random questions, but it just like helps you get to know people. But you might benefit from having those kind of prompts, like a book that will ask you these kind of get to know yourself prompt, and then like journal about it. And that's going to help you again, like get to know like your inner space kind of a thing. What else is Spirit wanting to say? Yeah, I'm hearing like the process is the way. Because I feel like this is a group that's like, well, should I stay or should I go? And that's really, you want to figure that out. And you don't want to really dilly-dally and waste too much time. Take up time. Take up space. Even in making this decision, take up time, take up space, process through this. If you're not comfortable taking a leap of faith, don't take a leap of faith. But change your behavior in it, And only by changing your behavior, and in this instance, I feel like take up more space, be a little bit more selfish. And I don't mean in a douche way. I just mean, if you would just say something to go along and to keep the routine, say, actually, I would prefer to go out to dinner tonight. I just don't feel like making anything. Like just kind of, put your foot down a little bit more and take up more space. And that's going to give you kind of like the feedback here that you need. Taking up space, advocating for yourself more within the relationship. Because I'm just getting that this is a group where you would let certain things slide for the benefit of the other person. But if you're going to stay in that relationship while you're thinking about things, just do less for the benefit of the other person. And again, I'm not talking about an extreme flip here. I'm just saying like take up a little bit more space. Okay, anything else, Spirit? Yeah. Aw, thanks, guys. Practice saying no. Yeah. And these little changes might actually make it a little bit more bearable, where you don't actually maybe have to leave. But I feel like there's feedback that's needed here, but you'll never get the feedback that you need unless you kind of change your behavior. Anything else, Spirit? Yeah, there's a functioning dysfunction here. That feels like that routine energy. Maybe there's kids involved, and they got to get to their places and things. Yeah, who's this King of Cups, though? Like, is this a temptation? Is this somebody outside of the relationship? Maybe you feel drawn to somebody else outside the relationship because your needs aren't being met in that relationship. But if you don't feel like you've advocated for your needs to get met in your relationship, then you're never going to forgive yourself for moving on. Because you don't want it to, I feel like this is a group that the focus is not to be a reactionary. Like, don't just simply react. It reminds me of that Kelly Clarkson song. I spent like a lot of my time learning how to react. You don't have to just react to impulses. That's what I want to say to this group. You don't just have to react. Because I feel like that's also what this group categorizes as like making their decisions. You know, it's like, okay, well, if I see this or if I know this, then I can react. And that's me making a decision. Instead of like, yeah, this is a group that's not comfortable. Like, just, again, getting to know yourself. I just heard thyself. Get to know thyself. And then just make a decision. And even if it's not the technically right decision for your culture or your community and people are going to judge you, if it's you'll know then that it's the right decision for you. But that's an entirely different mode of operating than this group has been operating on in the past. Reactionaries, I just keep getting it. Codependent, you know, reactionary is a codependent, right? We just learned that. So again, it's like unpacking that codependency. And that book is a great book, Codependent No More. So unpacking that and just learning not to be a reactionary in your own life. Taking up more space, setting more of a tone, saying, no, we're not doing that. Not putting things to a vote, not asking certain questions if you don't mean it, you know, like, okay, well, what does everybody want to do? Sometimes like you're the mom, you're in the driver's seat and you want to go get Italian food. So we're getting Italian food. You've been spending your whole day running everybody else around. So I hope you like lasagna. Like, you know, it's like just taking up a little bit more space. Everybody else kind of gets their say, but it's okay to be like a little bit selfish. You know, I also just heard if you don't indulge in those things, because this is like a giver group, it's a reactionary group, but if you don't indulge in those things that you want from time to time and practice those muscles, it's just like what people are saying to us now, where we're losing our democracy where I live. That if you don't stand up for your rights, that's how you lose them, right? They're trying to legislate our rights away. But if you don't stand up for your rights, then you've lost them effectively anyways. And so if you don't stand up for your persona, you know, like who you are and what you like, then you just effectively lose it anyways. And so there could be some confusion here about, well, am I in an abusive relationship or am I not? But it's because this group is so reactionary that it's like you kind of let parts slip away, but you could easily pull it back and your partner might actually, it might be in like an adjustment period or something. It might be a little bumpy, but like they're actually like okay with it. You know, if you explain like, we never have Italian food or something, like I just want a carb day, or I don't know like what it is, but reactionary is the word. So this is another thing that I feel like is good to highlight because so in A Course in Miracles, there's a phrase that says, I'm never upset for the reason I think. And that's something to kind of think about here because a lot of times the thing that presents as the problem, the question, the thing to be solved that we want to get to the bottom of, it's not actually the root of the issue. That's the way that it's expressing, but the root of the issue is, I think I don't know myself anymore. I think somehow I got lost in everybody else's routines and everybody else's and the roles that I'm supposed to play and the services that I'm supposed to render in my life that I've gotten away from myself. And I think I've changed since then because I'm like, then I was in my 20s and now I'm in my 30s. You know, I don't even know who I am anymore. So it's important. This is also reminding me of like The Artist's Way, where she recommends to take yourself on like a you date like once a week, but it doesn't have to cost money. This can be like just going on a walk by yourself or going and sitting on that little bridge over the pond that you like, that feels calm, you know, or taking your dog to the dog park, like something that you want to do though, like getting yourself a coffee, just sitting inside. Like it doesn't have to like cost money, but just spend some time with yourself and prioritize that and watch your life change. I just heard, and watch your life change. So just prioritizing yourself and getting to know that. So again, I'm never upset for the reason I think. The thing that's presenting as the problem here, which is like this decision, is not the root of the problem. The root of the problem is I'm a reactionary. And that's actually, it feels so fused with like, that's how I make my decisions. When I make a decision, I'm confident that it's the right decision because I know that I'm reacting to somebody else in a way that they approve of. It's like kind of people pleasing. This might be a little anxious attachment style for you to look into as well too. It sounds a little bit like that. And then you'll never leave me if I do all the right things, but there's a twist. And anybody with an anxious attachment style can tell you there's a twist to that. People don't tend to respect people who become the doormat, who are always trying to stuff themselves out of the way to like accommodate. That might be the thing that changes your life. Because I feel like there's a narrative here that again, you were kind of told that you've been repeating where it's like, I just have to be small, react, but it'll change your life when you just start taking up a little bit more space is what I'm getting. I feel like that's the crux of the issue. Yeah. So every single time this kind of thing pops up, like, should I stay or should I go is what it feels like. Bringing that back to what am I reacting to? How do I feel in this moment? Processing your feelings, your subconscious fears, because, oh, I just heard a subconscious fear might be active at that time. If you start thinking like, well, I think I need to leave the situation, what subconscious fear is active? Try to like kind of peel that back. And 10 of them might pop out like as a bleh. Because this is a group that, again, you're used to that hup to kind of energy. Like when the teacher asks, okay, class, what is the subconscious fear that is active right now? You're like, I'm going to answer right away and I'm going to throw 10 of them out there just because one of them's bound to be right or something, you know? But then, and they might be right, technically correct, like the answer that you can write on the board, but there's still no emotional connection to it. And the reason that we would dig around in the subconscious space is in order to actually process that, sit with it, you know? How does like that subconscious fear, how does it make you feel? This life that you fantasize about having, if you were able to leave your relationship, how would that meet your needs better in your fantasy life? Like it meets your needs because you would sit alone by the bridge every single day, you know, or you would, you know, and I bet you this is a group that's going to find out that you haven't been advocating for your own needs. Not that for some of you, the partner maybe does need to go, but it's so confused with maybe where you've let your own boundaries slip up or where you're not sure about who you are anymore and what you like. So, but that's the place to start, is internal and like with your own self. And then you'll be able to see that person kind of clearly. I hope that makes sense. So, okay. Oh, you're welcome, guys. Also, you aren't responsible for other people's emotions. That's big. This sounds like Enneagram 9. Practice saying no. Yeah. Yes. And a lot of, I think women in particular, like the practice saying no thing. This reminds me of, there was a handwriting analysis lady that came to Omega this one time, and she was always like really, really good. And she looked at my signature. She was like, I love your signature, but my S's, I did my S's in this like really kind of bubble way. And she was like, I need you to make these like sharp S's. And I was like, certainly the way that I make my S's doesn't, like, she was like, what it tells me about you is that you struggle saying no. And she was like, yeah, like if you can just learn to say no. She always said that she wasn't psychic, but how come she predicted my future several times. But anyway, so I used to go down and sit at the beach. Okay. It was like on a pond, but it was still my favorite place on campus. And I used to just write my name in the sand, and I just used to practice my S's like over and over and over again. And now I can say no, and my life is better. So yeah, really hitting on multiple points. Thanks, Jess. Your readings are super insightful. It does make sense. Okay, good. All right. So I think it can be hard to relearn yourself if you're in a long-term relationship, because it takes an effort from your partner to allow you to be different than the ingrained way things have been. That is so true. Because there's like shared needs, and you have a way of kind of meeting those needs, and you don't want to necessarily drop those things like for your person. But if you are like, I really can't carry this way, then it's like kind of, you have to go through this awkward transition period. And it's really, really hard in Western society too, because like you work so much, and we have a weird way that we relate to labor, where like the work that you do around the house, making dinner, grocery shopping, just cleaning up, vacuuming, just keeping things like in a basic state of like cleanliness. I was saying like making dinner, like all these things are so laborious. And then, you know, if you have kids, getting your kids to and from school, activities, appointments and things, you know, it's labor. It's labor. It's just not labor for the man that produces an income. So in the West, at least, where the almighty dollar reigns king, we've built societies around money instead of people. Then it's like you feel bad because there's so much labor to be like shared, that if you are asking extra things of your partner who is already maxed out, like with working their job and overtime and God knows what quarter it is and like what time of year. Yeah, it just sucks because like everybody's so maxed out. So part of it is maybe even like systemic, which is another thing that I feel like it gets overlooked in terms of karmas. You can tell my voice is getting a little tired, sorry, but I'm going to wrap this up. But like in terms of karmas is like the systems that we're born in. So like the system is a lot of times invisible around us. But if you live in a system that devalues people and overvalues money, that system formulates itself around you, and that's all you know. So it seems normal. So like in the West, it's like, oh, if you don't want to work 7 jobs and like be a part of hustle culture, you're lazy and you're worthless. And, you know, so people who live in a saner, more humane culture would be like, that's cannibalistic. Like that is a society that is eating itself, you know, and it's not a surprise that birth rates are going down. It's not a surprise that people are, you know, depressed and, you know, like crashing out. Like that's, of course, because you have to know how humans operate, and it's not built around humans, you know, like, I don't know. We're always made to feel so guilty about being a limited, finite person, and told that we should be punished for that. So it could also be that you're both kind of being victimized and oppressed by culture or systems, and you're both kind of prisoners that are trying to make the best of it. Anyways, I'm kind of stumbling over my words here, but yeah. I'm safe, I'm loved, I'm heard. All right. So I think I'm going to leave that there. Thank you guys so much for spending some time with me. We have on Patreon, we have From the Vault tomorrow, right?
Yep.
And then the following week we have our live stream over there. And I don't think there's anything else to kind of mention. Do we have a few love candles left?
We do still have a few left. The ones that are up there are it, and we'll never be able to have these again because the containers are discontinued.
So what's up there is all we have. And the containers that we use are discontinued. So the mercury jars. So if you want one, get one. And that's all I have. Thank you guys for hanging out. And I'll see you when I see you. Bye, guys.